ready to go once they give us the signal. I hope you can see the chat. I hope you can write something. Yeah. Hello. Hi. We're gonna just have to wait a couple of minutes before we are ready. Hello, John. Hello, Stavros. Hi, Seba. All right. So here we go. Merchandise, people. Merchandise A to Z. There's not gonna be a Z because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. What we are gonna try to do is set the foundation of some basic stuff. So we have to agree that merchandise isn't just band swag. It's the financial superhero a band needs. And with that superhero, you're gonna get some extra funds for your next album, for promo stuff, for tour expenses, all of that you're gonna need at some point as an artist, touring artist or not. So in this workshop or webinar, as you want to call it, we are gonna try to answer all the important questions around band merchandise. So we're gonna try to see what is what we call band merchandise, who will sell the band merchandise, when to sell, because it's timing is an important thing, where to sell, like platforms, stores, stuff like that, and so on. So before we start, I think we should just need to address a couple of things. So if you are here, chances are that you have a band, you're an artist, or I don't know, maybe you have a clothing brand yourself. But if you are an artist, which is most highly likely, I know that you are not the H&M kind of thing, clothing stuff, and you are definitely not a huge international company like Disney. But we have to agree that being an artist, being in a band, all this kind of stuff is like basically running a business. And to start a business, you need to invest money in it. So you probably already invested some money in it because you have invested in your instruments. You have to invest in time, which time is money. You have done your investment up till now, so you need to make some of that money back. And if you are not making money out of your business, then it's not really an effective business, is it? So there's this crucial part that some artists forget, and it's that in the band is basically art and business. It's both art and business, and merchandise is a significant income source. You have to have good quality merchandise. You have to try and be consistent, but we're gonna see all that in the upcoming minutes. So before we go into all these crucial questions like what, who, where, when, how, I want to take a minute and say that I really need you guys to ask questions. I'm literally all ears. If you're an artist, if you're in a band and you have like a specific question about your project that you will please address your questions, and I will try to answer them. I will stop between each big part, and I will try to answer as much as possible. So Let's make this a more like non-conventional, let's say, webinar, and let's try to be creative as you are. I'm not an artist, but you supposedly are, so you are the creative force here. So let's start by the what. What is band merchandise? What are we doing here? So you've rehearsed for months. You've got the music. You've spent thousands of euros or any other currency to learn your instrument, buy your equipment, rent your rehearsal space, and the list goes on. You know how it is. So you need to get that money back, as we said. So the first thing you should do, if you haven't done it already, is design and print a T-shirt. What a surprise! So for some people, putting that first order in to a printing facility is such a huge deal, and they spend most of the times weeks, months till they place that order, overthinking, trying to create the perfect T-shirt. I've got news for you. Um, it's not going to be a perfect T-shirt. There never was a perfect T-shirt, and there never will be one. So it will be just another band T-shirt. Um, but what is a band T-shirt though? What's the foundation of a band T-shirt? You're gonna think like it's just a piece of clothing. I think it's not, and you might think I'm crazy, and you might probably quit this webinar right now. But hear me out for a second. So what I want to say is that it's not just a piece of clothing. So it's let me ask you a question that I always like to ask friends around the world. How many band T-shirts do you own? So once you answer that question, I can tell you that my collection of band T-shirts consists of around 250, 280 T-shirts. Sorry, mom, if you're seeing this. Last time I counted, that's before I moved to Germany. So how many do you have? And now answer the question to yourself: how many normal T-shirts do you own? Because I personally own like 15 or 20 non band related T-shirts. So, and which then you should ask yourself which ones are more comfortable with higher quality fabrics, maybe even more breathable and practical. And once you answer that question, I'm 90% sure that the answer will be the normal ones are more practical, breathable, higher quality. So yeah, so I see Seba here saying 120 band t-shirts. That's a good number, by the way. So for me, and many people will agree, a band t-shirt serves a dual purpose, and that sets it apart from a regular t-shirt. So first, it allows me to proudly display my favorite artist's name when I'm out in public. And secondly, it serves as a fond reminder of a specific album, concert, festival, or whatever. It's not just a t-shirt, so it's basically me proudly displaying my favorite artist, and it brings back memories. So wearing a band t-shirt provides a much simpler means of self-expression compared to carrying around a piece of paper listing your Spotify favorites, or just showing what you watch on YouTube every day, or showcasing your Instagram newsfeed. It's way easier to wear a band T-shirt. And I don't know if you collect records, but you can show your collection of records to people out in the street as well. But you can wear a band T-shirt. And when you spot someone, let's say with a Kaya's T-shirt, for example, you immediately know where this someone is going out on the weekends. He's probably at the local bar that plays underground rock during the weekends. You literally immediately understand what he enjoys doing on a good chunk of his free time, probably going through his record collection, or you understand what bands he's following, the general genre of that he's into. And this isn't the case when you see someone wearing a random H&M t-shirt, so. And I don't know about you, but I can't count the times that I told a stranger, "Hey, that's a great record," and I was showing that person's T-shirt, and most of the times that led to a very, very interesting conversation, and most definitely a couple of drinks. I've met some really cool people in festivals just because they were wearing a t-shirt that I wasn't expecting to see in such a festival, So, and yeah, so it might not be a design related to that record, or it might be a tour t-shirt, and that's where the memories come in. So you get a tour t-shirt, you have a memory of the place that you saw that band, you saw your favorite band. um I don't know if someone here remembers, for example, the Bad Religion Against the Grain tour in 1991. I don't remember it because I wasn't born. I mean, I was born in 1990, but what I can tell you is that that particular T-shirt still sells to this very day, and you can Google that. And the question is, who buys it? So it's either people that really love that record, or fans from around the world that saw the band on that tour and either didn't have the money to buy it back then, or they got one on that tour, and after 32 years, they could use a new one. So it's all connected to memories, and that's exactly why a band T-shirt isn't just any piece of clothing. It's something way more than that, and you should treat it like something like that. It's like wearing a badge of your culture, showing the world who you are, what music rocks your world, what's in your record collection, where you like to hang out, and what you like to do on the weekends, and probably what festivals you enjoy as well. So, um, but let's go back to that first order we were talking about, and you should get that order in if you're an artist. Get that order in as fast as possible, because this will be probably your main source of income, at least for the very early days of your band. And I really hope you're gonna make it quickly, but just get that order in. And I don't mean to rush through it. Like, you don't just go on MS Paint and sketch something. Get a professional to do that for you. But the sooner you get that first T-shirt rolling, the sooner you're gonna have some income to fuel your artistic pursuits in the future. So, and from that point you can expand, and it essentially boils down to how many sales you can generate from each item, basically. So if you can get like 100 t-shirts, and you can sell these 100 t-shirts in like 3, 4, 5 local shows, because your friends are going to buy that, and probably your parents are going to buy that. My mom has bought my t-shirts and my records. I know, we all know it is what it is in the first days. So naturally, you'll need to expand your fan base, promote your art, attract more people to your shows. You know how it is. So certainly, you can't release a new design every month. You can't put the money in releasing new stuff every month, but you really have to keep things fresh, because especially, I mean, not only in the early days, but you're gonna see that in bigger artists as well, more well-known artists as well. So if you see your favorite band like 2 or 3 times within a year, if you are lucky to do so, then you probably have everything that band has to offer. So if you have everything that band has to offer, then you can't probably buy anything to support them at that point. So, and that maybe you wanna support them, but you really don't have anything new to buy. And this has happened to me before. I've been handling the merchandise for a band that I was, and we were constantly on the road for like 3-4 years, in the pre-COVID era, let's say. And at one point, while I was selling, a fellow approached me, mentioning how he pretty much owned everything the band had for sale at that point, and yet he still wanted to show his support. And this was one of these bands. We had like the same 3 designs for 3-4 years. Like, I mean, the bestseller was in there as well, but it was like we were selling basically the same designs for years. And the guy wanted to support us, but us, I mean the band, but at the end of the day he couldn't, because he had pretty much everything twice. So, and if that guy, if that guy didn't like one t-shirt the first time he saw it, chances are he's not gonna like it the third time he's gonna see that t-shirt. So he bought everything he liked, and then there was nothing new, nothing to see, nothing to share, or nothing to, maybe buy to his best friend for his birthday or something. So you need to keep that in mind, and you need to keep things fresh. Like, don't overdo it, but you get the point. Another crucial point to keep in mind is that not all fans have the same financial means. And if someone has traveled, for example, you might not tour every single city in Germany or Poland or Austria. So some people might travel to see your band because they are going to consider, you know, I can travel 50 kilometers to see my one of my favorite bands. So if someone has traveled like 50, 100, or 150 kilometers, bought a concert ticket, and has paid for a couple of beers at the venue, this is worth considering, especially if your fan base includes younger individuals, because not everyone can afford a 20 euro T-shirt at the end of the night. And this doesn't mean that they don't like your band, or that they don't want to show their support, but it means basically they can't afford that 20 euro T-shirt. So you have to ensure that you have something to offer, that young student or young fellow who's been saving up for weeks to attend your show. And you have to consider to get some cheaper items as well in your line. Make it an enamel pin or a patch, a tote bag, a sticker, whatever. Just cheaper stuff that you can share. And what I've always been doing is, like, especially when I saw students in some shows and they were, counting what they can afford to buy. Don't tell anyone, but I was always like, what do you need? And I just took whatever they had to offer, because it was, basically half the T-shirt. But getting that early fan in is really, really important. And even if they can't afford the sticker or something, just give them a sticker for free. This is really important. And the same the same goes the other way around as well. So you have to consider that once you grow as a band, and you are at that once that you are at that level where you already have a fan base, you're going to have like 200 tickets, 300 tickets per show. You might have some more special and unique items in your merch line, and this is fine to have. It's fine to have like more expensive stuff if they are worth it, and if they offer some value. If it's something like, I don't know, a really cool windbreaker, for example, or I don't know, a jacket, not just a zip hoodie, but a jacket. Then it's stuff fans can pay that extra money to get, because they're going to use it every day probably. Or if in the case of a windbreaker or a raincoat, they're going to use it on a rainy day, and they will still remember your band. And this is important to give like some more practical stuff. uh, Also, a side note here: don't take yourself too seriously. I have seen like a lot of merchandise in my life. I have produced a lot of merchandise in my life, and I can tell you that some of the most remarkable ideas I've seen come from bands you wouldn't probably expect. As a matter of fact, last year, for example, Cannibal Corpse released this apron, and I basically have it. I think it's there. Um, and it's with their logo and some splatter on it, and it's like basically you're looking like a butcher, but it says Cannibal Corpse here, and I think that is really remarkable and funny. And there was this other band as well, Frozen Soul, for example. I think they are from Texas, and they got ice scrapers, so you can scrap the ice from your windows in the winter. So don't take yourself too seriously. Excuse me. If you're playing like in a, I don't know, death metal band or doom metal band or post punk or whatever, just don't take yourself too seriously. I mean, there is of course your art, and I respect that, and I'm sure that all your fans respect that as well. But if you want to try some cool stuff every now and then, and make something different, I think that everyone will appreciate it, and I mean it's gonna bring some laugh on the table. So anything basically that you can put your name on and sell for profit, this will help you grow. And this is what band merch is all about after all, from your side. Because from the other side, as I told you, for me as a buyer, it's a memory and it's a statement. I want to show my support to that band. I want to people to know that I'm a Metallica fan. I want them to know that I'm a Planet of Zeus fan. I want them to know that I'm a Dope Lord fan. So this is why I'm wearing a t-shirt, and because I love the design and the art, and I want them to keep doing what they do. So this is what merchandise is all about. And at this point, I think we covered some of the stuff. um, you should also keep in mind that you can, if you have the opportunity to do something yourself, if you have like the means, because honestly, when I had a band, we couldn't do much, and we couldn't just, you know, we didn't have anyone that knew how to work with wood or anything, or make some sculptures and stuff like that. But if you have someone in the band that knows how to do something, and he's good at that, then try to brand something that he does or something that you do, and try to incorporate that to your general, you know, merch line. This is always fun. It's always fun to do. People appreciate that, and most of the times, this is something that at some point, regardless of the level of success you're going to achieve, some people will be really proud that they have that kind of that piece of merchandise at their place, and they will demonstrate it, and maybe they're going to get you more fans out of it. So keep that in mind. So with this we covered the what, the what part. So band merchandise is what we're going to talk. We got all that, and now we are going to move forward to who. But before we're going to move forward to who, if you have any questions, this is the time to put them in the chat, and I will do my best to answer them. So I will give you like 3 5 seconds. I will drink a sip of water because I'm not used to this, and this is my first presentation for like I don't know how many years. So give me a break. And yeah, so I can't see the Facebook questions. Honestly, we are live on Facebook as well, but I can't see those questions. I can only see the questions in the chat room of Soulstone Gathering workshops. So moving forward, we're gonna discuss about who, not the band, not the band who. We're gonna talk about who is selling all that stuff. So you got your order in, you got your patches, t-shirts, hoodies. I don't know what else you got. This is totally up to you. Um, so who's gonna sell that stuff? Um, I've been, as I told you before, I've been in a band myself, no, and the not so successful one, honestly. This is why I'm here and why I'm doing this. Oh, sorry, we have a question here. Sorry, before we move on, what is preferable spread of sizes? Should you make girlies? That is a great question. That is a really great question. So we are going to discuss spread of sizes at the end of this presentation, and I have a tool for that as well. This most of the times is up to what type of music you are playing, or basically it's a know your audience kind of thing. So I mean, you can't just play your first couple of shows and then you know what to order. That's not going to happen. You're going to make mistakes. Um, the thing is, most of the people are around medium and large, so that's the biggest part of your order should be medium and large, and then extra large comes third, and we have like small and double extra being lower. But I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna give you a tool at the end of this workshop, and you're gonna see exactly how you can calculate that. But it's basically up to you to know your audience and get to know your audience. When is the best time for a band to release merch? For example, after a demo or the release of an album. We're gonna talk about timing. This is on the third part of this workshop. This has to do with timing. But as I said, if you have a band and if you are gonna play a show, don't go to that show without having one T-shirt or one patch or whatever you can afford, basically. So if you can afford having a patch at your first show, get that patch, get that enamel pin or whatever you can to sell. Because if I see a newborn band, I don't care if they have a demo or if they have 5 records, but if it's their first show and I see them for the first time and I want to support them, I need to buy something. So it's best that you have something on your table, no matter how many releases you had or if you had none. So just get it going. Um, I remember I saw a band that made only 3 shows and make keychains. Yeah, if you can afford making keychains, do them. I mean, I've seen bands not having a T-shirt on their merch table, and they had a bottle opener. And honestly, the first show I played in a band, we already had a T-shirt. So there is we need to make money somehow, and the venue is not gonna pay us. So you know. But we are going to discuss all of that. Bartek, that was a great question. We are going to get back to that spread of sizes. When it comes to girlies, I would say that not many bands do them, and this is a pity for the female fans. But most of the times, it doesn't really make sense to have them because I think these days, especially if you are in the rock metal kind of area, most of the ladies prefer to buy a small unisex T-shirt instead of a lady's shirt. I don't know why, but I've had this a million times before when we had like 300 girly T-shirts, and the lady was coming at me at the show after the show, and she was like, "Yeah, I need this and that," and I was like, "Oh, we have that on ladies as well. Maybe you want to try that?" And she was like, 9 out of 10 were like, "No, we don't want that. We just want the regular unisex T-shirt." And you're gonna find out sometimes bands, sorry, ladies and guys share the same T-shirt. So this is why unisex is a way to go. Unless, of course, you are selling like crazy and you're like 400-500 cup venues, and then having a ladies shirt really makes sense. That's my point of view. Of course, if you can afford having like 50 and carry them around for a year, then that's up to you. But I think it's not really profitable, at least in the beginning. Depends on your level. So I think that's it for now. So as I said, we're gonna go to who is gonna sell all that stuff. You got all that in. Now you need to have someone to sell it. And in the beginning, I know that this is gonna probably be someone from the band. Um, and this is the way it works. Um, you have to be there before the show. You have to be there after the show, while your bandmates are packing stuff. Someone has to be there at all times to sell your stuff, and that's really crucial. And of course, it's kind of tough to sell during the show if you are selling yourself. It's kind of tricky to play the guitar and sell merchandise at the same time. I understand, but you need to have someone there, and when you reach that point where you can have someone else to join you, then that will be a turning point for your sales as well, because there's a lot of people that can't wait for someone from the band after the show. Either they have to catch a train, or someone wants to leave, or someone is ultra drunk. Um, you know, you should have someone there at all times to sell your merchandise. And while you won't be able to afford a merch manager early in your career, I hate to say so, but your best chances are probably around you right now. If you're a starting band, I don't know how bigger bands we have here, or how many baby bands we have here starting now, but chances are that your best option right now is someone from around you. So that super fan that comes to every local show, your friend, someone that you can trust with your money, and that seems like a responsible person that is coming to your rehearsals. I don't know. This guy is there and he's supporting you already by being there at all times. So you have to think that maybe you can trust him if he seems responsible. I'm not talking about, you know what I'm talking about. you know which friend I'm referring to, and this might be your best option when you are starting. So um, of course they will not work for free, but they will be the ones that when you are early in your career, they will not ask for the regular rate you're seeing from professionals, let's say, because he's not a professional and he will be there to help you. And this is like really really important. And this guy will enjoy being around the band, being in the early steps of the band, and you know this is all that it's about. And you can count on that person. Now, there are two scenarios in how this will evolve, and I have experienced both in my, let's call it, career. I think the term is funny, but let's say it career. Let's call it career. So in the initial and rather unlikely scenario, your original merch person, who wasn't initially a pro, truly finds joy in the role of a merchandiser, and they express a strong desire to learn more and become more committed, and they become an integral part of what we often refer to as the music industry in general. So they have been with you for your first mini tour, your first weekender. They've been at your first local shows. This guy at some point realizes, hey, I can do this for work. I can probably find another local band to do this for, and then they at some point will be professionals in the industry, and they will be your first merch guy and hopefully your last. We don't know that, but this is the guy. If you want my advice, you should stick with that person and show your appreciation towards them and their work as much as possible. This is really crucial for how the band uh, evolves. So your merch rep is likely the final point of contact for a fan before they depart the venue. You have to keep that in mind. You probably experience that yourself. You always have to ask yourself how you experience things, and there is where the answer lies. That guy selling your merchandise, that guy or girl, is probably the last person your fans will see the night of the show. And moreover, they might be the closest thing to someone from the band that the fan can interact with. You have to keep that in mind. You'll often hear fans asking merch folks questions like, "Where are you guys heading next?" Or "Any new records on the horizon?" Or even, "Which album did that last song came from?" You know. So this signifies that at that particular moment, the merch person and the band are perceived as one and the same by the fan at that point. For it probably is your average drunk fan, but this guy there buying your t-shirts, supporting your art, considers that he's talking to the band when he's talking to your merch rep. So this is really important. And therefore, having an unhappy merch person, a person that doesn't really enjoy being there on the road with you, will most likely affect the sales. There have been multiple times where I saw an impolite merch seller, or an arrogant one, or someone that, you know, you probably seen some yourselves as well. And this is the case where you're probably gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna go through this. I don't need this extra drama in my life. I don't want to talk with this guy, so I'm not gonna buy that. Maybe I buy it online. Are you gonna buy it online? Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. The thing is, you're gonna have that bitter taste in your mouth after that show, which you wouldn't have if that person that's there is happy doing what they do and happy to be part of the band's cause. So while I'm not saying that, obviously, there are realistic expectations and non-realistic expectations in everything in life, but you have to keep that in mind, and you have to try and have a happy person, a person that enjoys selling. Being good at selling is not like easy to find to someone, but it can grow at a person if they want to do it. So basically, if you want to do it, if you don't want to do it, you know, you just don't want to do it. He's not going to be there anyway. So moving on, um, I have to say that there have been like many times during my time on the road, there have been numerous instances where the venue fee fell short of the income generated from merchandise sales, many times. And while it's crucial for you as an artist to deliver a great performance, it's equally vital to ensure that your little pop-up shop is well stocked with records and other merchandise and stuff by someone who understands the significance of their role. This is the most important. I see Seba here saying that he has his wife at the merch. This is really good. I mean, she understands the cause. I can imagine that she understands the cause, and she wants to sell because you have to bring something at the table at the end of the night. So this is really cool. Um, so it's those T-shirts, those records, those enamel pins, uh, and these are gonna cover the expenses once you return home. Um, these hoodies that you're gonna sell that night will secure accommodations for your day off probably, and those records that you're gonna sell will fund the fuel and the gas for your van to go to the next city and then to the ferry ride to the UK and all that kind of stuff. So you need that money to come in. You need to have a happy person. Keep your wife happy, Seba, and then she can sell more merchandise at each show. Um, so later down the road, you're gonna figure out that your merch rep, is probably not going to be selling your stuff. And I'm saying like, it's more likely that concession companies will take over sales in bigger venues and festivals. Um, I don't know if you've been in as artists to some bigger festivals or smaller ones, but most of the times there are other people there taking over the selling of goods. Um, and these are the concession companies we're going to talk about here. Um, while I myself don't really like the fact that they normally take around 25% of your gross these days, I can at least try to explain briefly why you really need these guys, because it's a relationship you really have to have. And so since you are gonna have it, then you might as well try to see the bright side. Um, so I may not have explicitly stated this, but it's a well-known fact that you don't start your band by having like all your taxes paid probably. I don't know what your band does, but normally um, you don't pay everything up front and you try to give a t-shirt here and there. I didn't say that. Some other friends say that. I don't know what they're talking about. So there is a turning point again, when being in a band, that you will want to have everything 100% legal and 100% secure. And I hope that this day at some point comes for every one of you. Um, so we have to have a little bit of tax knowledge here, but you know, for every sale that occurs, you're obligated to pay sales tax in the country where the sale takes place. So when you are a touring musician, that can add up across numerous countries. You might go at a tour, through like 13 countries, which then it makes it nearly impossible to handle all that taxes thing by yourself or even by your accountant. This is like extremely difficult thing to do. So this is where concession companies come into play, and they handle the sales for you. They handle the tax declaration on your behalf and make all the necessary payments so that you receive the net proceeds from your sales without having to do all that paperwork and taxes stuff, which is boring and sometimes dangerous. So, does all this work uh, is fair to be valued at 25%? I don't know if it's fair. It doesn't feel fair to me, but is it is it mandatory to have it? Is it essential to run is it essential to have these guys do what they do so that you can have a perfect legal operation? Yes, it is. It is unfortunate. Um, so, uh, apart from the complexities of tax declaration, any touring merch rep will confirm that the space they are allocated at each venue or festival is not always ideal. Um, Many of these concession companies are far more equipped than your average merch person to ensure that merchandise is prominently and clearly displayed. So this is also really crucial. Um, you have to consider also. I'm sure that most of you have been to many festivals with like 40 bands on the lineup, and so imagine like 40 merch uh, guys or girls squeezed into 12 meters and try to show everything, show all the T-shirts or the merchandise they have. This is an impossible scenario, and this is where concession companies step in to take charge, and they expertly handling the proper display of goods, doing efficient sales, counting everything, packaging your merchandise, just so you don't have like 40 people there and you only have like 12 or 13. It's like it is what it is. Um, and then your merch rep can basically review everything after the show, and you move on to the next city. That's pretty much it. And remember that the concession is always a predetermined aspect of the agreement that your booking agent arranged well in advance when scheduling the tour. If you are not fond of concessions, you don't like other people selling your stuff, you don't like losing your 25% or 20% or whatever that is, you have to explicitly tell your booking agent that they shouldn't book you at venues with such arrangements. You might skip out on some really fancy venues, I can tell you, but you'll retain your 25%. And yeah, honestly, in today's landscape, having both isn't feasible, really. It is possible, but you have to be prepared. We've seen a lot of action this summer, having bands going public on social media, saying how 25% is not fair and that we are not gonna sell to that venue because we got the info now. Um, I can say that this is highly suspicious because all this stuff is agreed upon way in advance with contracts with all the bands, and I don't like it either, but at the end of the day, if you sign the contract, it's in there. So I don't like it either. If you don't like it, don't sign the contract. Simple as that. So we covered also the who part, who sells, and we can now go to some questions before we move to the when, the timing of all this. And I see John here asking, what about the merch guide to have or try to find? Some equipment for the best presentation of merch at the table. Yeah, so most professionals will have some lights with them. They're gonna have tape. They're gonna have uh, Sharpies or other sorts of pens. Um, Depending on the level of the band, you can probably or the space you have also in the van, because the size of the van is basically really crucial in what you can bring in. You might have some grids that you can put t-shirts on. You might have some other fancy display board that you can pin t-shirts on. You might have like some mannequins, for example, that you can put t-shirts on. But I mean, in the beginning, you just have to display your t-shirts any way possible. Then if you want to make it fancy, if the merch person wants to make it fancy, they can do fancy for sure. And this is basically all. It all goes back into this person being professional, and if they want to sell, if they are happy with what they do, and how they want to do it. Because, for example, if a merchandiser is happy, he wants to sell more, he wants to support the band any way he can. Of course, he's making money out of it, and he makes his living. But display is really important, and at some point you understand that. it's not always perfect, but you know, having I personally have like the some clip-on lights always with me. It's like the ones that you are using to see on your pedal board and stuff like that. So it's like, or the ones that you put on the back of your bed so you can read something. And I also have like a really big kind of LED, like 700 lumens or whatever, from a well-known worldwide company, um, so I can bring some light if needed in any occasion. Most of the times, venues have some place to put stuff on, so I don't bring any. I never brought tables with me, um, and this is really hard to bring tables with you. But you can bring like something to cover the table maybe, because then you are gonna have your stuff um, underneath the table that you will be selling, and there it's not going to be easily accessible from the outside, or it's not going to look like you have something there anyway. So I hope that I answered your question, John. If anyone has any other question, I'm all ears. um, so with the colors of t-shirts and the lights, so when people are at the event to cut side and come to your match. Yeah, well, basically, as I said, display is the most crucial part, and having like the best spot in the house is the most crucial. Many times the merch was displayed at a weird space, and I basically moved everything the other way, so I can be at a space where people were seeing everything more clearly, and this works. You're gonna figure that this works. So, um, if we don't have anything else, then we're gonna go to the when part. Cheers. A little bit of coffee to get me going. Um, so timing. We mentioned that in the beginning. Um, I think John mentioned it. Yeah, when is the best time? So when is the best time? We mentioned it. Like we also mentioned that you should maintain consistency with your merchandise releases. You don't want to do it like every month, but it is essential to introduce like fresh items from time to time to add excitement and to encourage your fan base to return to your merch stable, both in the physical and digital realm. That is so. We are fortunate to live in an era where we can make purchases from virtually anywhere in the world within seconds, and it's important for every artist to capitalize on this opportunity. The timing of your releases is crucial, regardless of whether you are an artist, a clothing brand, a record store, you have a label or whatever. It's really important to time everything perfectly. It's not going to be perfect again. It's never going to be perfect, but you can at least try to time it as good as possible. Um, you will notice that many artists out there opt for seasonal merchandise. If you are a part of an underground band and you believe it's a worthwhile thing to do, bear in mind that more often than not, it may not yield the desired results. You really have to already have the fan base to support that. I mean, there are like some really cool, um, how do they call them? I think they call them like ugly shirts, for the winter time and Christmas. But if you are not like, Black Sabbath level or Metallica level, then I don't know if you have 150, 200 diehard fans that will spend like 70, 80 euros for that ugly shirt. So um, if you decide to go ahead with a seasonal drop and it turns out to be successful, you should acknowledge that you're making strides towards achieving success and that your idea has indeed paid off, and that's great. I really hope that for everyone, really. Um, it's not. It's worth noting that seasonal items may not always be the best choice, especially if you're still a growing artist. So, um, you can include that into the quirky and fun side of items, but maybe it will not resonate with all buyers. So you have to find the balance between doing something funny that goes along with your band, but it's not like something super expensive, or um, the releases that are seasonal are most of the times going back to back, and you probably don't have the fan base to support it. So, but timing is not only doing seasonal drops, right? It involves everything around planning the release of your record, coordinating with your label, and having, like, if you have a manager, or if you want to have one, or if it's a friend of yours that knows how to manage things, um, it's like a coordination of everyone involved for that makes it really like crucial for its success or failure when it comes to an upcoming release or a tour. I've seen a lot of bands struggle with the aspect of timing, and honestly, this is something that I don't understand. So, as I said before, you've invested countless hours rehearsing. You have dedicated, I guess, around a couple of weeks to record your new album, and you probably, you poured like your hard and earned, probably thousands of euros to go record that, and then master it um, someplace, I don't know, and you receive the master version and then promptly upload it to Bandcamp, and you think that this is how you should be doing things. So this is a missed opportunity right there. And I always urge people, to take their time with releasing stuff. Maybe this is not like really what we started discussing here, and this goes more to the release of the record kind of thing. But the record is also merchandise, so timing is really crucial, and you should take the time to organize everything, prepare everything, and make an actual plan. So if you want my point of view, you should also engage in discussions with the artists who will design your album cover, and you should let them know that you need their creative input for potential merchandise ideas, to complement your upcoming release. Remember that guy that we were talking about before, that is sometimes selling your stuff at your first shows and that he is there at every rehearsal. This is your friend that knows some stuff that you don't, probably. So consult them, so that you can identify any aspects you might have overlooked. So that guy probably got some feedback from your fans in those shows, at those shows, and it's basically that guy that has the info of what the your fans need or want to buy from you, which you probably don't already have. So take the time, ask key persons around you, and discuss, consult with them to get some ideas. It's not a bad thing to consult your best friends or your closest, really closest fans, especially in the early days. And after that, you should really devote ample time to the design process and explore options for your next item. So when you have that designer designing anything, tell them you are not only after a cover artwork. You are after something more than that. You want to do obviously a t-shirt and a zip hoodie, but tell them that you would like to have aspects of the album in other parts of merchandise as well. You might want to do stickers. You might want to do, I don't know, some AirPod covers, or some mugs maybe. I don't know, with your logo on it, but they have to look nice. And if you ask the the designer, the illustrator, then they will have some feedback for you as well. And this is really, really crucial for the final result. Um, so strategy. Imagine that you're operating independently without the backing of a label. And this is, as we say, like a DIY kind of thing. So first order the records, then you kick off the pre-order campaign, making them available online for people to pre-order that record of yours. And after a couple of hours, you receive a message from a fan asking, "Will there be any T-shirts with that record?" And then you realize that you missed to get that T-shirt online as well. So it all comes back to timing and having everything ready and have everything planned out. Um, and this will lead you into getting sales in, or you're gonna miss sales if you don't have everything planned out correctly. Because let's say that you started the pre-order and you just put the records out there, but you didn't put the T-shirt on, so people don't have the T-shirt to pre-order, and you put it at a later stage. So on your diehard fans probably already bought the record. They pre-ordered the record within the first minutes, hours, I don't know, and then you upload something that was not available initially for that hardcore fan to buy in the first place, which he would have, but now he already ordered something, he paid shipping once already, and now you are putting them in the loop of reordering something. And let's be realistic, you are not their one and only favorite artist, and at this point, you are not exactly known for being the most organized, right? So perhaps I'm taking things back to the basics now, but if you're gearing up for a record pre-order, it makes sense to give your fans a sneak peek of what's coming. So they'll want a taste of what's in store, and that's another aspect that needs to be timed just right. So you have to give them like when you I mean most of the bands these days will release a single or two or three, I don't know. In any case, when you are releasing those singles, have that record available for pre-order, not the other way around. So if you have like the record available for a pre-order, but nobody ever heard anything from that said the record, then how are we supposed to pre-order that record? Why? Because I mean, you might have played black metal before and then something happened and you basically are now playing, I don't know, instrumental psychedelic rock music. So we need to have people need to have like a sort of um, sneak peek of what's going on, and that will drive your sales as well. So timing is not only crucial for the public release, but it's also like really crucial. It starts before than that. You really ought to check the production timelines for all the items you plan to create. Back in the pre-COVID, let's call it era, yeah, it's a thing now. You could place an order for a record, and your records might arrive. I mean, as a band, place an order for vinyl, and your records might arrive at your doorstep. I don't know, a couple of months after providing the masters, something like that. Um, but I can tell you, in 2021, you would be extremely fortunate to receive your records within 6 months after the down payment, with an average delivery time stretching to around 8 to 9 months. So this all made things completely new for everyone, and all campaigns went to trash and they had to be rebuilt. It's I know it's a bad thing, but you have to plan far ahead. It might sound extremely difficult, and I know it is, but keep in mind that it's your art that we are talking about, and that you should treat it with great respect. So take your time, as much time as you took, crafting your art, then take the time to present it to the people and sell it to the people as well. So um, we should of course mention that various items come with the distinct turnaround times. Of course, each supplier has their own schedule, um, but normally it's like 2 to 4 weeks for printed stuff, normally, I don't know, 4 weeks for embroidery stuff, and then for more specialized items, you probably need a little bit more than that. Depends on what you want to do. You might see some really custom, cool stuff that takes a lot of time to design, a lot of back and forth with sampling. Um, Keep in mind all that before you start, putting deadlines on yourself that you don't really need to in the first place. So I see John here asking, if a band put the album cover on T-shirt, it's much easier for the release of merch because a couple of them also try to find different designs for the merch. Is this more timer? Yeah, well, putting your album cover on T-shirt, of course, is the easy way. I should say now, by the way, if you want to ask more questions about the timing and stuff, let me know. Type those questions in there. If a band, yeah, putting the album cover is a safe way to go, and this is like but this is like one design. Do you want to have one design in your merch line, or do you want to have more? Because the answer to me, at least, I always want more. As we said before, it's nice to have one design, or as you're growing, maybe you have a couple related to this current record of yours. We were doing the Rancid tour recently, so there we had, I believe, at least three from that were related to the latest record, and then we had, I believe, a couple of items that were related to one of their best records, or their most, most loved records. Um, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to what people want to buy, and you should try to understand what your people want to buy. Getting that cover T-shirt, that's the easy part, but you should consider doing more than that. Um, and if the design is not so good, it's gonna be 50-50. Yeah. If you don't believe in your art, then no one is gonna believe in your art, John. I'm afraid to say. You should believe in your art first, and then you should believe in the art that your illustrator will do as well. I think this is also the one crucial thing to mention here. It's important to say that if you're not happy with the result, don't release it. I mean, I might repeat myself here. You're never gonna get. I think this is my point of view. You're never gonna get the perfect album. You're never gonna get the perfect T-shirt. Most of the artists are never 100% happy with what they have, but if you don't believe in your art, then nobody's gonna believe in your art. And the same goes for your T-shirts as well. I love all my T-shirts. I know bands that they had some terrible ideas, but at the end of the day, they liked them. So just try and see what's good and what's not. So it is what it is. Um, if we don't have any questions, I see someone is typing. We should move forward. If you have any questions, I will address them. Um, so to the interesting, I mean, everything is interesting to me, but I'm obsessed with that stuff anyway. I hope it's interesting to for most of you as well. We're gonna go to the where part, and this is really a big topic here, um, because these days it's not like, I mean, back, I don't know how old most of you people are, but back in the days, you would have like one record store in your town, at least where I come from. If we were lucky, we were gonna have that one that was called Rock City, for example, and this is where everyone would get their rock and metal albums. But these days, um, we have the internet, so we can buy it from pretty much everywhere in the world. So for this upcoming part, where we are going to discuss the where part, um, we must take into account not only the logistical considerations, but also the physical locations, such as stores and markets, and of course, the the biggest of them all, which is the online part. And we're going to start from the online part, as you see. Um, it might be obvious, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's vital to ensure your merchandise is consistently accessible online. If you are fortunate enough to gain a new fan through a YouTube video or a Spotify stream, it's absolutely essential that they can easily purchase your merch with just a few clicks. You don't want them to hustle too much. So ensure that your website or web store link is, prominently placed in the top row of your YouTube video description. If you can have your stuff on Spotify as well, because you can do that now. Do that. Have that stuff there. Maybe you sell one more T-shirt. You don't know, but it's something. And remember, especially on YouTube, the first row on the description remains visible on all devices. So if you have like a website, if you have your Bandcamp or whatever that you're selling your merchandise through, have your Bandcamp on the top of the description, first row. Get this album here. Just tell people really quickly where to get that album from, and this will make a huge difference. I promise. So now let's go to platforms, because there are many different platforms to sell your products through, and of course they all have their pros and cons, and we are going to discuss a little bit uh, so you can have a clearer view. So more artists use Bandcamp these days, um, and according to Bandcamp, I read here, fans have paid artists and their labels $1.18 billion. The past year alone, they've spent $192 million, 41 million in digital albums, blah blah blah. You get the point. It's really impressive. What Bandcamp has achieved, it's really impressive. Um, and what Bandcamp says is that you directly support the artist you love. This is how they sell it, and we have to say that the sorry about that, but I locked my PC. Now I unlocked it. I'm back. Um, so um, it's really important uh, that Bandcamp, they are a business as well. So as a business, they need they need to make money, and to make money, they keep a percentage from these sales, and it's a remarkable percentage as well. So they keep 15% of Bandcamp keeps 15% of the digital items, and they drop it down to 10% for physical stuff. If that's something that it's good for you, it's good. If it's not, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't. But it is what it is. I'm just mentioning the facts here. Um, what Bandcamp does that no other platform offers is that it's basically like a social media platform um, for uh, for music fans. So you might not be sharing cut videos there and stuff, but you can definitely show off your music taste. You can follow other people. You can see their collection. You can buy what they buy. You can see pre-orders. You can tag your labels. Keep tabs of your labels and stuff, of the labels you like. And it's a place where fans discover new artists and give them some love with just a couple of clicks. So um, I might have to add that Bandcamp is a great way to start a newsletter. This is really important. And you might think it's old school, but having a newsletter is absolutely crucial for sales as well these days, because Facebook and Instagram will show your content to maybe 10-15% of the people that follow you. But with a newsletter, it's direct. It's the most direct way to communicate with your fans, and Bandcamp is really good in keeping track of those emails and letting you even kind of doing a newsletter via their Bandcamp app as well. Um, you also have to consider that with Bandcamp there is the chance of the so-called snowball effect. So think of the snowball effect in the context of a pre on the context of a pre-order. It's like when a musician, starts by offering their new album for a pre-order to a small but dedicated fan base, let's say the subscribers. As more fans get excited about and start pre-ordering the album, the word spreads around, and even more people hop on board, sharing the news, spreading the word, making posts on Facebook. But it's like, or other social media for that matter. But everyone is going back to your Bandcamp to pre-order that record, and then you keep that thing going, just like a snowball basically. So you have to consider that no other selling platform has this snowball effect, which in this case is like the top selling records on Bandcamp. You can do a cool Facebook post about that, or you can share it on Instagram, or you are on top selling, and maybe that gets you a couple of more sales as well. Now, Bandcamp is great, but it's not cheap. And I will really quickly say some numbers, but let's say that you sell 50 t-shirts for 20 euro each. That's a gross of 1,000 euros, and that's uh, around 100 euros for Bandcamp. So that's the 10%. There are payment fees and stuff, but that's the payment fees are in every platform, PayPal fees and stuff like that. But we have to consider that this 100 euros here we are talking about, this is just for the payment of the Bandcamp service. So you basically just sold 50 t-shirts for 20 euro each, and 5 t-shirts worth of gross income you gave to Bandcamp. Again, this is just the fact that I'm mentioning here. You have to see for yourself what works for you and what doesn't. So I'm gonna just say that there are different options, and we're gonna see them here now. You probably heard both of them, but I don't know if you know any bands using them. Um, I think that I know bands that have been using both of these, and we should put you should put these into consideration as well. So one cheap option would be Big Cartel. According to Big Cartel, they currently host, as they say, more than 3 million shops worldwide, and these shops have grossed 2.5 billion. So if you are considering selling a limited line of items, basically you can pick the free version of Big Cartel, and then you can have like three, I think, no, 5 items, and each with one image. So basically, if you just have 5 t-shirts to sell and nothing else, then you can just have the free version of Big Cartel and it's done. You just pay the payment fees, but these payment fees from PayPal you're gonna pay anywhere anyway. So you just got yourself an extra 100 euros here. Um, Now, if you want to have more, Big Cartel offers the basic subscription of 9.99 bucks, I think, per month, and no extra fees in that. So it's a flat rate, and you know what you're paying the whole year. Um, so at the end of the day, if you do the math and you are selling like every month 1,000 euros worth of merchandise, you would pay 100 euros to Bandcamp, but on Big Cartel you're paying 10. That's 90% less. I think it's pretty big. So, but as I said, some things are truly priceless and invaluable, like the potential for the snowball effect that I mentioned before. You might not experience that. Not you might, but I think I'm pretty sure you're not going to experience that when selling through Bandcamp only. Because unlike Bandcamp, Big Cartel doesn't host a community around it, so you have to consider that in your endeavor. Um, but the thing is, having one doesn't keep you for having the other. So you can have both Big Cartel and Bandcamp at the same time. You can have like your sales on Big Cartel, but you can share some records for the fans on Bandcamp as well. This will then split your fan base in two, so you might not get the snowball effect either. But I have done a pre-order with a band the past couple of years, uh, So we hosted the whole pre-order on Shopify, which we are going to talk about next, and we sold everything on Shopify throughout the whole pre-order. And then the day of the release, we put 200 records on Bandcamp, and those 200 records basically sold out, I think, in 2 3 weeks. So the hardcore fans bought the record and pre-ordered the record through Shopify, but then there were, the community that I'm talking about that is around Bandcamp. They bought it on the release forward, from the release onwards, and this played its role, I think, as well. So um, Shopify offers a significantly higher degree of customization in every aspect. You can craft a truly distinctive and branded online store, which it gives you extensive control over the design, layout, functionality. You can do remarkable stuff with Shopify. Your store can even resemble a conventional website as a homepage, and then you're going to have your shop in a different page as well, all under the same domain, of course. So for every idea you can conceive, there's likely a Shopify app already available. There are thousands of Shopify apps. There some are free, some are not. But this is all like let's say higher level pro, let's say backend solutions as well, and processes. You have a lot of order fulfillment options there. You also have more payment options with Shopify, um, compared to Big Cartel and Bandcamp. Again, you can have both Bandcamp and some of that, so you can combine. And Shopify isn't cheap. This is the problem here. So for Shopify, you have to pay like 320 euros per year. So it's more expensive, way more expensive than Big Cartel. But at the end of the day, you are getting more value out of it. If you are selling a good chunk of stuff, if not, then the safest bet is either Big Cartel or Bandcamp. Shopify is for, let's say, the next level, where you want also to have some analytics in there, um, and all that fancy stuff that comes with it. So most of your favorite brands have Shopify. You can have a look at it online. I will leave you to that. Um, Now we move on to the logistical problems that you might face. Um, it's really important that you must not overlook the shipping costs. It's not just about considering them in the beginning, but it's crucial that you constantly update your shipping costs, because you are going to get updates from your courier service or your local post office. You have to be consistent about updating this, because you're going to lose a lot of money otherwise. If you launch a pre-order, and let's say you are lucky enough and you receive 1,000 orders in 2 3 months, and you have miscalculated your shipping charges by 1 or 2 euros, then you basically, this results in a 4-digit loss. This is terrible for you and your financial in the future. So one effective strategy that I could suggest is to conduct test packing for the most common types of orders you anticipate. Like a record with a T-shirt, a record with a CD, a record with a hoodie with a T-shirt, the basic stuff, a T-shirt itself, a hoodie itself, and then visit your local post office and determine the shipping costs for sending these specific packages to various destinations and zones worldwide. You might also want to consider getting in touch, with companies like UPS, FedEx. Um, uh, your local post probably can't offer, will probably offer the cheapest solution, but you don't know if this is going to be the best one, or if this is going to work for you. I suggest that you go out knocking doors and getting that info in. It's almost certain that you're going to make mistakes in the process, but the most you work on it, the better the result will be. Also keep in mind that when charging your fans, you shouldn't forget about the packaging cost, because this nowadays is also pretty expensive. A vinyl package will probably cost around the euro. So this is like, again, for 1,000 records, this is 1,000 euro we're talking about. Uh, I don't think you have this to spread around. So you should try to be as accurate as possible when it comes to shipping costs, which at the end of the day, it's as they called it, P&P, which is postage and packing. So it's fans pay for both. Um, Now you might want to ship all these orders yourself, or you might want to have a fulfillment center somewhere to fulfill those orders for you. And then the question comes: do you need a fulfillment center, or do you need a merch company? Um, so it really depends on what you're looking for. Honestly, a merch company plays a huge role in several aspects of your merchandise. um, they can assist you in product development. They can aid in crafting a brand identity. They can offer artwork tailored to your band style. They have probably the best pricing around. They have the knowledge that you need, someone to guide you through the merchandise world. Maybe they offer fulfillment as well, and with that fulfillment, you get, this creates opportunities for cross sales. um, I'm sure most of you have seen merch companies like that, like Kings Road, for example. That I happily work there, um, or others like Empiricon or whatever. So, um, moreover, a merch company serves as a valuable guide, as I said, helping you make the best decisions for your specific needs. You might, for example, have that great artwork, but that will be like, I don't know, 16 colors or something. So the merch company comes handy, guiding you through the fact that you should not be printing 16 colors on a T-shirt, or at least not doing it with the screen print technique. That you need different techniques to print that. So you should consider that as well. While on the other hand, a fulfillment center is a place that just fulfills orders. It is definitely more efficient and faster than you are, and most definitely they have better shipping rates, and these better shipping rates will result to more sales for you. Because if I go online and buy a record, I guess you're going to say the same thing, but if I go online to buy a record, and I see like the record costs 20, 25 euros, but the shipping costs are like 23 or 15 for that matter, I don't know if I'm gonna buy it. But if I see that the shipping costs are like 5, 6, 7 euros, then I will consider buying that. Um, and this comes all back to how easy is it for your fans to get your stuff. So suppose your primary market, for example, is Germany. I happen to live in Germany. In that case, it's highly advisable to prioritize shipping from within Germany rather than relying on a fulfillment center, let's say from the UK. So this approach helps keeping costs lower for your fans, me, um, ultimately leading to increased order volumes for you. And if you have a Shopify, you're gonna be able to see abandoned carts, as they call them, and you will be amazed by how many fans will abandon their cart because they're gonna see like a huge um, shipping cost at the end. So at some point in your career, as you expand, I really hope that you will need different fulfillment centers around the world to make your fulfillment easier. And you have one fulfillment center in Europe to ship in Europe from within Europe, then you will probably need a different fulfillment center in the US to fulfill the US orders and so forth. So the goal here is to streamline the shipping process and enhance the overall customer experience. That's the goal here. Um, Something else you have to consider is also distribution companies, which is a different kind of let's say fulfillment, but it's basically fulfillment center uh, for other stores. And when when you go directly, I've seen a video lately from Steve Vai, the guitarist. He was saying that back in the day, he basically started his own record label because when he went knocking doors to distributors, they wouldn't distribute artists directly. They would just distribute records of labels. So basically, he created his own label just so distributors distribute his record to record stores. So modern day distributors can assist artists, reaching local record stores or large retailers, like in our case, MediaMarkt or Saturn or whatever. Online platforms like Amazon and stuff like that. So you need distributors to get to these guys, and maybe you are lucky and you are at the distributor which um, many smaller independent shops are connected to, and then they get your release as well, and then you end up having like your record in Poland, Germany, Czech Republic, France, whatever, just because someone showed your record to these smaller shops. So there's no other way. I mean, there is the other way. You can just get in touch with everyone, and you can get in touch with these stores yourself. You can have a list and try to contact them, and maybe some of these stores get your record in the end. But honestly, having a distribution is the easy part. It's not easy to get the deal done, but it's gonna be helpful, and it's gonna make your life easier, and it's gonna help you build brand awareness because your record will be available in more stores. Oh, and this is how we finish the where part, and we go to the final part, which is the how. And this is where I think if you have any questions, again, please type those in. Um, so yeah, we're gonna move on to how, which is how you order stuff, what to order, um, how to communicate your ideas with uh, the one taking your order, and then I'm gonna show you a couple of tools um, in Excel that you can use for doing projections yourself for your upcoming tour, and do all that size breakdown and stuff. Um, what's the question? Can you provide more or less the cost of producing a T-shirt? Depends on the T-shirt basically. So if it's like in one color, Gildan, heavy cotton, whatever, you can find that for 5-6 euros or whatever. Um, at the 100, most of the printing facilities will tell you that there are different breaks, you know, at the price. So if you order 50, you're gonna have a different price than if you order 75 or 100 or 150. Every company has their the different uh, print breaks. Uh, it depends basically, but you can expect like around 6 euros for a regular Gildan T-shirt when it's for 100. And again, it's about how many colors. Is it gonna be one color, two color print, three, whatever? I'd say you can start from 5-6 euros per T-shirt and then move onwards and upwards. And also depends on the quality. If you want organic stuff, if you want fair wear certified, or if you want like a basic T-shirt, if you want a Ringer T-shirt or a Raglan T-shirt, there are tons of options out there. So I don't know. Send me your design, and I can give you a price probably tomorrow. Um, So, um, moving onwards, you have to place your order at some point. Also, you, Julia. Um, so when it comes to ordering merchandise, just remember that the mock-up, um, uh, the mock-up is basically just a digital representation of the actual product, and it's not 100 exact. And knowing this will make your whole life easier. Now, when you communicate um, with people that are getting your order in, try to be as clear as possible, and this will help you get the final product being as close as possible to what you had in your head. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Um, Feel free, as I told you now, ask questions when you're ordering something, because nobody was born knowing what plastisol is, or what water-based things are, or what an embroidery is. Um, so remember that, and ask questions. Like, even after a decade of ordering and producing merchandise myself, I'm still learning and I'm asking questions. So try to be as specific as possible when you're ordering, when it comes to the print size, and when it comes to the little details that matter to you. Try to mention them. Be specific about the colors. Ask your designer for Pantone colors. Um, and if you've seen something you like, show it to the person that is handling your order. Maybe he can get some ideas of what you're after. Keep in mind again that the final product may not be exact match. Um, for example, you might have that favorite, band T-shirt from 1998. I don't know, and that specific red color, that specific garment, but this might not be available right now. You're gonna get something similar, and again, uh, don't expect anything crazy when you start growing your band. So, um, which of the clothing painting techniques do you consider to be the best in terms of quality? Oh, that's a good question. Depends on what you need. So, when it comes to, let's say, Plastizolinks, for example, they are super bright and they will keep their brightness, and you can be specific about the Pantone colors and everything. But um, I think that the fabric then is not that breathable because of the plastic. Plastisol is basically, plastic ink. You get the idea. And that then doesn't let the fabric breathe that much. Um, but you have the brightness of the colors. Now, if you want a more breathable t-shirt, you can discharge it basically. So you can use water-based inks, and then use that extra chemical in there, and with that, you then discharge the t-shirt itself, and the ink actually gets inside the t-shirt somehow. Then you don't feel anything on your t-shirt, and it is extremely breathable. But you're not going to have the brightness of the colors that Plastisol has to offer. It's going to be a little bit less dull, a little bit vintagey, let's say. So it's up to you to see and understand what you need. Personally, I love discharge because it's really breathable, and I'm from Greece, so with the weather being hotter, I like my t-shirts to be more breathable. But when I have clients that they want, for example, a specific red on their t-shirt, a specific red ink, then I always suggest to go for Plastisol, because with discharge, you are not never gonna get the exact Pantone color that you need on the print. It's gonna be close, but not 100%. So if, like John said before, if you're trying to print your exact artwork on your T-shirt, and you want that exact red and that exact green, then you really need to print plastisol. I don't like it, but this is a matter of personal preference. Quality is up to the printer and how he prints. You might find some extremely good plastisol t-shirts, t-shirts printed with plastisol links to be exact, by some extremely good printers, and you might also find some not really good ones with discharge. So who knows? Um, so that was basically it. But for you, I have right now, um, I have created a couple of tools that you can use for projections. And when this uploads to YouTube, we're gonna put a link so you can check that out, and you can basically copy it, and you can use it to project your sales for your upcoming tour. I will just have to share my screen and show you how you can do that. So um, what you see here is basically a projection for, let's say, these are the items I have here. I have two T-shirts, I have a CD, a vinyl, and a record, and a hat. So you see, nothing works here at this point. It's gonna work soon, I promise. So um, what we can do here is basically we can put in the capacity of these venues, because what we need, the most important thing when you're trying to project sales and what you're gonna need for a tour is basically the per head. And if you want my opinion, you have to keep tabs of every sale, ticket sale, merch sale ever when you play in a band. This will be really crucial for you in the future. So to get the per head, basically, what we need is previous data, basically. Per head is how many euros will someone spend uh, in at your concert. So I can assume that my band will sell 4 euros a day, 4 euros per head on each show. That means that every person that walks the door will spend at least 4 euros on my merch table. And my band is playing support in some other band, and we are playing like 300 cup venues in all of these cities. So I'm gonna put that here. I'm gonna copy that. You get the idea. I'm gonna do a quick demo of that, and then you can basically download it and use it yourself. So um, here is the average sales price, and this is basically you're gonna see their formula here. I put the sales price here for the t-shirt at 30 euros. We are not cheap. We are selling organic stuff, you know. Um, the formula basically gets the average sales price of these items here. So here I'm gonna put the percentage of the sales of each night. So I think that 30% of our sales will be the Satan Cat t-shirt, and you see what's happening now. I think that 20% is gonna be the beer t-shirt, so we are now at 50%. I think that 10% will be our CD. We are at 60%. I think that our record is pretty good, and our record will sell 20%. And then I think we have like 80%, and I think that our hat will be 20%. I don't think so. I think this is going to be 10, and then this is going to be 30. So we have 40, 50, and another 50. That's 100% here. And then this gets the average sales price from everything here with the weight of the percentage. So this is my average selling price. This is the total amount of merchandise I'm gonna sell. So I'm dividing. If you see here, if you click here, then you can understand what I'm doing. I'm basically dividing 1,200 with 25 euros, then it's going to be 47 items. And then here, I'm going to get what percentage of this are, every item. So 30% of these items, this number of items, is basically 14. And I'm rounding up because the numbers would be tricky then, but I'm rounding up everything. And so I know that I'm going to sell like 14 cat t-shirts, 9 beer t-shirts, 5 CDs, 14 records, 5 hats, total of 47 items. Obviously here now every show looks the same, but if you change the capacity here to 600 and you put 2 euros per head, then, or let's put 280 for example, then it's a different thing. So this is your gross of each night. I just put random numbers here. You can use that for your own band and put some numbers there. This will help you no matter how a small band you are or how big band you are. This will be useful forever. This will help you do these projections. And someone asked before about the size break, and this will help you determine that as well. So if you see here at the end of this, we have here the total numbers. These are the total numbers of the t-shirt designs. So I have 174. I need 174 Satan Cat t-shirts, and I need 112 beer t-shirts. What I can do is I can try to break down that with percentages as well. So that then I will go to production calculation, and I have done here uh, this kind of thing. COG, by the way, is cost of goods. And here you can basically, what I have done is basically you put in the total number. So how many did I need? I need 174 Satan Cat t-shirts. So I will go here and I will do 174. I need that to be the total amount. And then I'm gonna put size split percentages here. From my point of view, I would need 15%, 25%, 25%, then I have 65% here. Then I would need probably 20. I'm at 50, 70, 85. Then I will need 10 and 5. And this is what I'm going to produce in the end. And this is, I already rounded this up in fives, so I can have a little bit more. So this sums up. We are lucky that this sums up to 175, but it would sum up either or. Anyway, this is up to you to decide what works and what doesn't work. This is all info that you have to come up yourself. You have to consider previous sales, data from your previous tours, previous shows. You have to keep track of everything, and then you can figure this thing out yourself. And the same I'm going to do here. So the total amount for the beer was 112. So this is 112 here. And then I'm going to put, I don't know what I'm going to sell. So I'm going to put the same amount of numbers here. And then I have, you see, I have the total of 110 instead of 112 because I'm rounding up or down to have a good amount of fives when I pack initially. And this is how it basically works. For CDs here, I need, what do I need? I need 62 CDs. I need 155, 170 records, and then I need another 60 hats. And so at the end of the day, I have 578 items. 584 it says here. It's fine. Maybe I should order a little bit more, maybe not. At the end of the day, this is my total investment in the beginning, and this is what I'm going to make at the end of the day. This is how you know that if your investment actually makes sense and what you're going to get in the end. If this makes sense for you, that's fine. If not, then you have to, do your pricing accordingly. So if you get your CD for €6, maybe you don't want to sell it for 12. If you're getting your record for 11, maybe you don't want to sell it for 25. That's up to you to decide. But at the end of the day, You have a clear view of what's happening when you sell that 578 items. What you need to have before, and what's gonna come after the tour in your bank account. So we will put this link on the YouTube upload. Soulstone Gathering will help me with that. And this will not be editable here on Sheets, but you can download that. You can do whatever you want with it. I really hope that this will help you guys understand how it all works. And honestly, um, if you have any other questions, um, reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Shoot me a message. I will try to reply. Um, I really hope that this 1 hour and 40 minutes help you better understand what your options are in terms of merchandise, and to better prepare for your next tour or your next release. I really hope it made sense for you. In any case, that was it, and thank you very much for joining me. And I will probably see you out there somewhere. That was it. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, Bartek. Thank you, Tobias. That was it.